Hello, lovely people. This is Robin D, and today with a Robin talking video thing, or rather more audio thing, where I want to talk about Minecraft a little bit and kind of first of all the combat system or PvP PvE system. Now, there has been quite a lot of controversy about it ever since 1.8 and 1.9. Now, I only started playing Minecraft in 1.10.2, meaning I'm a person that immediately, even as I played the demo version, was like, okay, this is how you do it. You hit and then it kind of takes some time. Then I also found out if you jump, then you can do critical damage. And that system makes sense. Kind of. It is far more realistic than anything else, especially if you think about attacking with an axe. A lot of people don't even know that you can put attack enchantments like smite or sharpness on an axe. This is because it's also a weapon. And, well, the axe has got a quite slow cooldown. So you hit and then it takes I think 2 or 3 or maybe even 5 seconds for it to really fully be back up. But that makes total sense if you think about it, because you often have those video games where you have a final boss and that boss has a battle axe and they hit with the axe, they hit the ground, the axe gets stuck in the ground, they try to get it out, and this is the point when you then can defeat a boss. A lot of video games that have end bosses have that thing where it's the orc wielding the battle axe, and when it gets stuck in the ground then you can kick it in the ass or something. Yeah, I also don't need to be caring about YouTube monetization, by the way, because I'm too small of a channel, I don't have it. Anyway, so it basically makes sense that when you hit with an axe, it kind of takes a bit more long time till you can hit again. So basically, in terms of realism, it possibly makes more sense. However, I only recently found that out. The reason why people are so upset about the new combat system is because of the old one, and a lot of people are going to be like, no, the old one was good. No, let me explain. Not studios. So the old combat system used to function in the way that there was a possibly for programming reasons a cooldown, but it wouldn't be indicated. So basically, when you hit with a sword, it would do the maximum amount of damage that the sword does, and if you clicked again in the same split second, you wouldn't attack again. It would not do anything until one of your clicks would again be registered by the game, and you would once again do the maximum amount of damage. Now this cooldown was, I think, slightly shorter than the now added in cooldown was, and basically it would encourage you to basically just spam click. But even though you spam clicked, which I totally hate, and I only do if I'm cornered by 10,000 zombies in the game, that wasn't really a problem, because you could spam click, but it would only register those hits where it really was again able to let you swing your sword. Now this cooldown, as far as I know, and especially with an axe, was shorter than what it is currently. So you could definitely still attack quicker and maybe deal a bit more damage per time than you can do now. But the thing was, you didn't have a shield that you could block all the damage with. So I think in terms of balance, it was pretty much the same as at the moment. Now, why is it such a problem that Mojang changed the combat system and switched to the new one? Well, this can be simply put to that people were used to just spam clicking pretty quickly while still having some other aspects to the PvP or PvE. So basically, trying to block with your sword, which was a thing, or strafing left and right, jumping back and forth. There was tactics involved in the old combat system. So surely enough, the attacking itself was more like just pretty quickly clicking, but the avoiding of the attack of the opposite was very much more difficult, and there was tactic involved. Well, with the new combat system came basically a punishment for spam clicking, and also no real use to go out of someone's way because you can have a shield that blocks all the damage. So basically, suddenly the combat system changed from a system where you definitely could have some strategic to it because you didn't need to mind about the actual attack. It changed to a system where tactics were like no longer so important, but you just had to mind how you attacked. Now, in a lot of video games, even things that have attack or combat in the title, the actual player versus entity or player versus player is not about the actual combat or the attack, but about the strategic of avoiding the attack of the other entity or player. And for that matter, till 1.8 or 1.9, basically Minecraft was following the same footsteps as many other games before it, being more about how you not get hit than actually just about the hitting itself. For a lot of those games, it's like not about actually just hitting the person with a punch, but knowing that A, B, left, right, up, down makes a special move. So basically, that was the premise from the beginning of Minecraft in when the PvP got really added with like swords and so on, till 1.8, 1.9, and suddenly that changed. You did no longer have to go out of the way, because if you have a shield, you just hold that up and are like, okay, I can do this about 400 seconds. Then my shield breaks, but I can do this for quite a long time, so just take your time. At some point your sword is gonna break, and I'm just gonna be able to punch you to death with the shield. Yeah, and it really changed that way. Now, if I would go to an older version of Minecraft and would do PvP, I wouldn't mind. Or even just survival and player versus entity. I wouldn't mind. Because I don't spam click nowadays, and I wouldn't spam click then. And in case I would notice that it doesn't hit immediately, but it would still be possible. And with the knowledge that I have of the current combat system, I could very well use that for the old one. Meaning, if you were to go back, you don't really care. But if you go from the old one to the current one, this is where it becomes problematic. The kind of tactics, the set of tactics that you have possibly been using at that point for 8 years suddenly no longer works. Yeah, it just completely changed. You now have a shield, sure, but if you you used to pay more attention to not getting hit than actually hitting, because that was kind of straightforward, then now it's like you just need to pay attention to that you're hitting. Now in terms of balance, I think in comparison, the old system and the new system are about equally balanced, but just in completely opposite ways. And this is what upsets a lot of people, and which got some people to quit the game, that it especially suddenly punished you for spam clicking. Beforehand, you just couldn't, because the game just wouldn't recognize a click done a millisecond after the first one. I guess out of programming reasons. I definitely have written the odd console or command line program that doesn't really read constant inputs, but only reads inputs every 10 seconds or something. So basically, this cooldown that they had there basically was kind of programmatic. You needed to have it in order for the program to be able to run. But then they apparently figured out, hey, there might be a variation of not doing that and just having every single click in every single millisecond being registered and actually put into the program. And so came the new combat system having an indicated cooldown to kind of make it seem like the old one, just not being it. And this is the problem. If you nowadays hit with a sword, and I recently tried to write that in one of the newest versions of Minecraft, if you hit with a sword while basically just spam clicking, it takes with a diamond sword 8 hits to kill a villager. While I think with like a fire aspect sword with some other stuff on it and like critical hits, it takes like 1 hit and then the villager burns to death. So it's like, basically when you spam click with a normal diamond sword, it is as good as if you were holding a potato and punching the player or the entity with a potato. It does about as much damage if you just spam click. And so this is a punishment for doing that. But why are you now being punished for something that before didn't even count to strategy? This is what a lot of people don't understand, and where a lot of people got enraged and then just bored of playing the game because they were being punished for something by the game that they have been doing successfully in the game for many years. And this is what I can understand. I still think that the new combat system is kind of better, also because you have the possibility to one-shot certain entities, which you definitely couldn't beforehand. So kind of a few weapons, a few enchantments got kind of more deadly. Not in PvP, but in PvE. So one-shotting a pigman, one-shotting a wolf, definitely helpful in certain situations, and I'm not sure if you could do that in the previous versions before 1.9, but well, now you can. Anyway, what do I think about the idea that maybe reverting to the old system? Well, I kind of didn't like it in the first place, because always changing something back is just so yesterday. But on the other hand, I think people wouldn't mind. The people that now play in the new combat system wouldn't even notice, except for the one time when they are like in combat by 10,000 zombies and cannot spam click with the knockback sword. Because if you have knockback 3 on a sword, spam clicking is your friend. But other than this one use of an enchantment on a sword, there is no reason why any one of the people that use the new combat system and like it would even care about being in the old system. Because they would still play as if they had a cooldown, and it would still work. It does the same thing as it does now. So going back, it wouldn't be negative, and people who stopped playing because of the new combat system would come back. So maybe that would be not a bad thing, but I think Mojang should do the following: have both. Have a game rule combat system, and then have it like be like V8 and V9, or like V7 and V8 on 9. And in V7 you have the old combat system, like for example as in 1.7.10, where you can spam click, have this little bit of clicking delay, and have no sword, no shield, or maybe have a shield, but like have it block only 40% of any hit, and have it not block explosions at all. And then have the version 9, where it's like you have a shield that blocks, let's say, 80% of explosion damage, 100% of hit damage with a sword and 100% of an arrow in 95 times of 100. So basically half the chance that an arrow still goes through. That should be the current combat system kind of overhauled. This is what I think, so much for that part of Minecraft. Now let's come to the elephant in the room, 1.13. So at the time when I'm recording this thing here, there has been one pre-release, and the pre-release has got problems. One of the problems starts when you launch the game. The title screen is no longer a blurred picture with about 320 by I don't know what, 200 or something that like just got like bloated up. No, now the title screen is a kind of blurred background in 1080p as far as I know. Meaning that if you have less than, I think, 4 gigabytes allocated to Minecraft, the thing lags in the title screen a lot. So I tried to record this video that I'm now recording here as a talking video in Minecraft 2 days ago, and it failed spectacularly. I couldn't even get the title screen to properly work. Then when I had the mouse moved over single player after like 10 minutes of trying and finally clicked that, okay, the lag was gone. It's actually the title screen. Then I went into a new world and the chunk loading was so slow that I couldn't even walk without falling through the chunks. It was extraordinarily bad. Now, my MacBook has got 8 gigabytes, but I think to Minecraft I only have got 2 gigabytes allocated, because if I allocate any more, then my fans in the MacBook just go bonkers and they heat up the screen, and then the screen gets some kind of strange artifact. And yes, blame Apple. But so I generally have no problems with MacBooks. Like a lot of other people have, like falling out screens and cracking screens and breaking screens and like keyboards that just randomly stop working. My 2 MacBooks work perfectly, other than that they get really hot just if the CPU does a bit more work. It's like, come on, the thing's supposed to be able to run things that take 8 gigabytes of the RAM, and then you're already fan up if it's 2.5. Yes, but that's my issue. But generally the thing is really laggy, and even some YouTubers with really powerful computers have only posted screenshots of the title screen and not videos. I wonder why. So yeah, the current pre-release one is extremely laggy, extremely buggy. There are a lot of commands that don't work, and when I tested this out 2 days ago, the seed command took 20 seconds to return the world seed. Whenever did the seed command take 20 seconds? Never. So basically a pre-release, and I'm going to link a video in the description here that Phoenix C made. A pre-release is basically supposed to be like, this could actually be a release, because it is supposed to be the difference between a snapshot with those year, W, week, A, B, C, D, whatever. The difference between the snapshots and the releases and the pre-releases is the pre-release is like supposed to be like, well, this could actually be the full game that we are selling people. And honestly, if pre-release 1 of 1.13 would be the thing you're selling me, I would not only want my money back, I'd sue you. Even if I'm not an American but an Austrian with not a lot of money, I'd find a lawyer, I'd sue you over that fuck up. Now, because I am someone who is not totally against game developers, I'm like, hey, Mojang, you will fix this, okay? But you really have so many things still to fix that, like, in the last snapshot were not working. That going into a pre-release is like a bad decision, a really bad decision. And the last two versions of Minecraft, 1.11 and 1.12, both only had two pre-releases to the worsening of the game in a sense, because in 1.11 there was something broken with smelting. In 1.11.1, Mojang supposedly fixed it. You know what happened? Smelting stopped working. Now on Mac, you could open a furnace, you could put something in the top of the furnace. As soon as you put fuel in the furnace, the game would crash. If you manage to put fuel in the furnace with a hopper and put something into the top, as soon as you close out, the game would crash. On Windows, if you clicked on a furnace, the game and potentially Windows would crash. That was 1.11.1 for you all, and Elytras didn't work, because when 1.11.1 came out, the changelog said added rocket-propelled flight, and I wanted to make a video on it and show it off. And I don't know if there is a video on my channel or if I then scrapped it because it didn't work, but I jumped off a building and died. And I was like, why didn't it work? Well, Elytras didn't open. So basically, with 1.11, Mojang only had two pre-releases, then had the 1.11 release like 2 or 3 days after the second pre-release, then rolled out a bug fix that broke the whole game, and then quickly fixed it with 1.11.2, which worked like a charm. So that was like, oh, okay, you like just, I don't know, missed a semicolon or something. It's fine. It's okay. Then 1.12 came along, and in the first version I think they had messed up something with the colors, so they brought out 1.12.1, which kind of stayed around for a few weeks, I think, but I think it also had one of those bugs where it was like, oh yeah, you can't do this like one thing because that's broken now. And in 1.12.2, the version that we are now playing, obviously that bug is fixed. But it like also was like you didn't really have a lot of pre-releases, and then you pushed out a version that was bugged. Could you have taken 2 more weeks? Just rolled out another snapshot, then 3 pre-releases, and then the full thing, and you wouldn't even have to have .1 and .2. We at that point could have only had 1.11, nothing else, and then right away 1.12 and nothing else. But no. You push it out, and then like a few weeks later, you are, oh yeah, there was still a feature we wanted to add in, so now there is the .1 version. That really seems to me like a bad decision. And now, with the update Aquatic, and especially because apparently Microsoft, so the team in Redmond, seems to be a bit in front in terms of developing than the Java people, now minding that the Windows / Bedrock version still lacks a lot of certain features, or in like brackets features that the Java version has. So I think it might be easier for the guys at Microsoft to implement it than for the people that just had to rewrite the Java version, basically. But because they are, I think, a bit forward, Microsoft is like pushing Mojang, I think, at the moment to like, come on, do it now. Not acknowledging how broken the actual selling version of Minecraft, the Java version, is. And it's like Microsoft saying, hey, we don't have those bugs. I mean, Mojang could also tell Microsoft, hey, your version doesn't have working redstone. But that's another point. So I think Mojang is being pressured by Microsoft here to release the thing that Microsoft already has finished. Guys, now you can go to fixing your redstone, sure. But, well, Mojang isn't at that point. The Java edition isn't at that point. And that's the problem I have with that. That, yeah, they are going to do the same mistake again. Now, I think this time around they are definitely going to have at least 3 pre-releases. If they again only have 2, the game is doomed, literally. If they have 3, it might work out. There are also a lot of people in the community, a lot of great people that show Mojang the bugs. So there are people like Ilmango and Nembom and Cupfan and Izuma and all of those great YouTube people that find the bugs and possibly even write a mod that fixes those bugs and then send Mojang the code and are like, hey, that's how you fix the bug. That is great, and so Mojang is kind of now having to rely on the community for some of those things. But yeah, if they push out this update and in the full release we like still have to hit F3 and A 10 times in a row for the chunk we are standing in to load, then this is just going to fail. And Microsoft should know this. Microsoft should be fully aware, because Microsoft should have some idea of failing things. Like, Microsoft, you know things that fail. I definitely trust that you do. So, if you see something that might, immediately think about it again and maybe just give it more time. And it's not even about giving it more money, because I think Mojang is actually self-sufficient with Minecraft in the Java edition being the most selling game. So I don't think it's about the money. It's with you just about the times and how can we get the most hype and the most sales? Well, if your game isn't crap. And so please, take your time. I do want to play at some point in Minecraft 1.13, but I don't want 10,000 dolphins making my computer burn, or just not being able to load because outside of the spawn area nothing loads. So yeah, so far those are the things I wanted to say about Minecraft. I would have liked to record this video as a Minecraft video, but well, yeah, lag game, can't even get past the title screen, don't want to allocate more RAM to Minecraft. Also, like, there are some people that are like, oh yes, I have this real big beefy computer, but I only play Minecraft. And it is like that. You shouldn't need to allocate more than 2 gigabytes of RAM, especially because if I allocate 2 gigabytes, the highest usage is a fourth of that. So Minecraft doesn't even use all the things that I've allocated, but it still is laggy. So it's like, what is going on here? I don't know. But yeah, this is why I'm now just recording this as a Robin talking video, or audio with a black screen. Enjoy. Maybe I'm putting a few pictures on, maybe not. But yeah, thank you very much for listening, and I hope that this summer I will be able to make some new Minecraft content, but I really want to kind of think about how I'm doing it and what I put in, and if I maybe just do some general videos where I do things that other people did in 2010. So yeah, maybe just some simple stuff. Thank you very much for watching and listening. If you've made it so far, this is great. Don't forget to leave a rating and maybe a comment. How do you stand on the comment system? Do you think it would be easier to kind of change back than how it was to change from like, hey, there is skill involved in dodging, to hey, there is skill involved actually attacking? Yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, and you'll hear and possibly see me pretty soon again. Bye bye.